Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Fifth Quarter Show. Joining me tonight is Adam Baker, as always. Yep. And over here, we don't have him on the screen, but we've got Jacob Padgett, part of our second network crew that has been broadcasting volleyball games.
As he said last night, he has a face for radio.
Anyway, we've got some good information for you tonight. We've got quite a few young folks that we're going to recognize on the show for their efforts in athletic play this week.
We do indeed. So let's get started with our volleyball players.
How about
it? What do you think?
We're going to bring out some volleyball players. Now, I'm going to let Jacob talk about the volleyball players because this was their choice. They broadcast these two games, and we'll start off and let you bring out the first one there.
All right, first one's going to be Vanya Martinez.
She went stage right instead of stage left. There you go.
And as Vanya fakes out Coach Hunter here.
How are you guys? Good to see you.
So myself and David were the volleyball broadcasters, the B team as we like to call ourselves. We picked Vanya for the China Spring game is because she had 15 digs in that game. And let me tell you something. When she came home, she had bruises to prove it. She actually asked me to verify one on her elbow, and I couldn't find it, and she was saying that she was like, well, hey, it's brown, can you see it? And I'm like, well, you're not giving me a whole lot of contrast to work with, Vanya, so I couldn't find it, but nonetheless, she was out there sacrificing her body. We came up short in that China Spring game, but just behind every Pollard hit, every ferocious McPherson spike, there's usually a great dig or a great set behind it, and Vanya Martinez was a big part of why we were getting a lot of those hits and spikes. So she knows she's pretty humble. She doesn't like to get a lot of credit, but why I especially want to brag about her is she's not just a student athlete. She's a student athlete with two sports that happen simultaneously. She's preparing for a playoff run for volleyball. At the same time, she's preparing for a state cross-country championship this Friday, a run. This student athlete, she gets up every morning at 5:45. Now, she'll literally roll out of bed, get into her truck, and go to cross-country practice. I don't even know if she brushes her teeth. But she goes out there. She runs early in the morning. She goes to school. She's not taking easy classes like a normal senior would. She takes on-ramp classes and all that stuff. And then on top of that, she does volleyball practice in the evening times. She's a perfect example. And I'm not bragging about her for her benefit. I'm actually trying to – it's for any of the audience out there, the underclassmen that think about doing multiple sports that happen simultaneously. Vanya Martinez is a perfect example that it can be done with the right dedication, right character, and also credit Coach Martin and Coach Weber for keeping not just Vanya but the rest of the girls focused on their school and on the volleyball courts. So that's credit to the coaching staff. It's credit to Vanya Martinez. And again, she doesn't like getting credit and all that kind of stuff, but the stuff the effort that she made, even though we came up short, but we took them to the wire in China Spring. She was out there sacrificing her body out there. I mean, she was going linear on that floor, and you can hear it up there, and it was unreal. And some of those digs I thought was a low percentage, and I thought, oh, there's no way she got that, and she got it. I mean, she was pancaking, she was digging, it was everything. She brought her shovel to China Spring, and she daggum near dug into China as far as where you can dig into China and all that. So,
Vanya, I just have to ask you real quick, which is more of a struggle right now? Being here on Hornet Radio, knowing that you're live for all the internet, or listen to the dad jokes that were coming across over there a while ago. I'm with you. I saw the cringe there. Hey, but he is right. I mean, you great student athlete, and he even left out soccer. You're playing soccer again this year, so I mean, you're busy and you're doing a great job.
But Friday morning, what time? 9:30. 9:30 in Old Settlers Park.
Round Rock, crap.
Right. All right. Well, we wish you luck on that. And then after you go and do great things out there, then we got to get ready for Tuesday, right? Copper's Cove, taking on the Bulldogs. All right.
Good job, Vanya.
Next up, Nadia Appleton. Come on out. So,
first timer,
look at that.
First timer, but somebody who's been there the entire season. Nadia, you done? I mean, we see you warming up. We see you after practice when you're getting in there. Last night, it was your night to shine a little bit. You came in, went up. What was it? 6-7 point runs there you had, and then 4 of those were aces. So I mean, you really stepped up last night. You seemed to found a little momentum and did a great job for the team. In which we just wanted to recognize you for that. What you did there coming in, just doing your job.
Congratulations.
It wasn't just the aces were fantastic, Nadia, but one of the things that shows the ultimate team player is that you come in when your team needs you. You're there. You're there for you're all the practices, all the games, like Adam was saying. And the aces were impressive, but then you were throwing. You had a dig in there, and then you had 2 shots over for points. So you had a big impact in that third set against La Vega, and for whatever reason they didn't have an answer for your serve, and that was amazing to see. So that's kudos to you, and I just you're a perfect example of an all-round team player. You're there for when your team needs you, and it's all about the team with you. And I know Coach Weber appreciates that. And your team was cheering you on, as well as the JV freshmen. You had a little cheer section in the La Vega, so it was fantastic to see.
Knocking out 4 aces like that, she's giving them plenty to cheer about. So it was.
You got Adam pumped up, David pumped up, myself pumped up. It was a lot of fun.
There you go.
Good job.
Congratulations on joining us. Do you have anybody watching tonight? Did you tell anybody you were going to be on tonight? Your parents?
wow.
You want to say hi, Mom? Look in the screen and say hi, Mom.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in the playoffs next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, it's football time, Coach.
Football time.
Yeah. First off, before we get started with the other guys, our normal roll call guy is not here tonight. Couldn't
Amos is
join
not
us,
here.
but he still made Impact Player of the Week.
He did.
For obvious reasons.
Yep.
I think he's one of the main dudes that you can count on to be there and make the tough plays when you need him to make the tough
Every
plays.
Friday night.
Never quit, right?
He never does.
He's
So-
setting the bar high for next year too, though.
Very
The gentleman
high.
we're talking about is obviously
Amos.
Mr. Amos Phillips.
Yeah.
Amos
You know,
Phillips.
he had some predetermined things that he had to take care of tonight, but we know we're probably going to see him next week. Probably. Anyway, with that being said, first up, let's bring out Mr. Watts. Adam, why don't you tell him about Mr. Watts? why he
Mr.
got
Watts
picked.
had,
Again.
once again, had an electrifying game there Friday night. Had 6 solo tackles, 7 assists for a total of 13 total tackles. One of those for a tackle for a loss. Came on a big play, which it seemed like Friday night defensive play was the game that was the change of the game. Defense stepped up really big, and a lot of that was a big part for Mr. Watts and a lot of the defensive guys. So.
Yeah, first half was real big, and they kind of drove on us a little bit, but we had some really big goal line stands, and he was a big part of that. The missed field goal was a big part, and having that 14-0 lead at halftime was a big deal, and that's shutting out China Spring at China Spring is really hard to do, and so that's I don't know if we've ever done that at halftime over there, but really proud of our defense, and Dylan's a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things is, you got any powder blue on your helmet? I was looking for it.
Yeah, they did have a little bit right there.
Yeah, you can hold that one up and show it to the crowd. But anyway, congratulations on being an Impact Player for this week. And we look forward to a big show Friday night against the Rockets.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Dylan. Next one, Mr. Kaufman. Come on out,
Hayden
Mr. Kaufman. Another defensive or impact player on the defensive side. Had 2 tackles, 2 total or assist. But it wasn't just that. I saw there was a pancake block that he just drove the guy back and just embarrassed him. I mean, I hit replay. I loved watching it. I love watching linemen just doing their jobs and getting out there playing hard. And so good job on that.
The deal with him is he goes both ways a lot, and that's really hard. It's hard to go both ways in football. It's really hard to go both ways in the trenches. And he does that. And we do a good job rotating him defensively. He's a big part of our offense, so we keep him out there every snap of offense. But the guy we're about to call up doesn't have the night he has without these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Caden's a junior, had really high expectations, and he's exceeding those expectations this year.
What pushes you to play the hardest? Whenever your dad's in the stands or when he's watching on TV? What do you think? You like him in the stands? I can believe that, but he never misses a game no matter what.
He's watching it.
Oh my gosh, he's like one of our number one number one responders texting in.
There we go.
So he doesn't miss a play.
You should see his helmet. His helmet's scuffed up for you right there.
Yeah, it's a lineman. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's scuffed up pretty good.
I like it.
He's a little dirtier than Dylan Watts is.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for being on the show tonight. And give your dad a big thumbs up or whatever you like. There you go.
See you, Caden.
All right.
Thanks, Caden.
It's that time of the night.
Ray.
The player of the week. Come on out, Mr. Ray Sean. I got him.
I didn't see. I knew he'd have his hat on. I didn't see if he had it on. I didn't see him when I walked in.
I'm just glad it's not green.
Yeah.
I was looking at him. He looked like one of those French painters.
Yeah. That's like his new style. He's been repping it all year. It's like his new thing. He has different colors. So
Yeah,
this is the one color I'm not a big fan of, but
Come on.
I know.
You ain't got to be like that.
I know.
Hey, especially after this past weekend.
He had a big run. Yeah, he had a big game.
Yeah. Big run, big night. Adam, go ahead and tell us accolades.
We had 26 attempts for a total of 189 yards. That's good, gives you a 7.3 average. But the biggest one of the night was the 4 touchdowns. You had that 32-yard long run, but the four touchdowns in one night. And that's just nice.
And it's like I was telling Adam before the show, despite the amount of yards that you racked up, even if you had 10 yards, if you had 10 yards of 4 touchdowns, you was going to be sitting in that chair.
Yeah, big deal. And we knew, and we lean on that. And when you get a lead like we did, and have him in the backfield, and then, our offensive staff does a great job of finding the formations, and because every week we get a different defense. And so it takes us about a quarter or two to kind of say, okay, that's what they're doing. And we were dialed in the second half, and that's what led to Ray's having those big runs and those linemen doing a good job. And then, he does a lot on his own too. I mean, the spins and the extra yards. There's a lot of extra yardage hidden. When he gets hit, he still finds a way to get 3 or 4 extra yards.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a few times that I saw him pushing a crowd with.
Yeah, he moves the crowd.
The spinning.
Yeah.
It was like a record.
Kind of came out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So, how many times is this year so far?
It's been a minute before since you've been here last. I mean, did you fall asleep in the middle of the season? What happened?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Congratulations on being here tonight. We're looking for some big things Friday night. We want to go pop some bottle rockets. So.
And I don't know if you saw the Facebook. He went over 4,000 yards his career this week. So
nice.
All right.
He's the third rusher in Gatesville history to go over 4,000.
4,000.
So now he's the third leading rusher in Gatesville High School.
That is awesome. You got 2 games left to get another 1,000 yards.
There we go. Couple thousand.
All right. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ray Sean.
And real quick, before we move on to our news, since we're in the heart of the show and people are tuned in, we got home game this weekend, so the tickets are up for grabs. We have a trivia question for this week's tickets.
There we go.
And you watch Coach's reaction when I read off the question to see how close if he is, because I'm going to tell you, I had it wrong. I had 2 guesses on it, and I was wrong on both guesses.
Oh, wow.
And whenever I originally pulled it
I was wrong, too. So
in Gatesville football history, which quarterback holds the career passing yardage record? Career passing yardage record. You can message on the message board, or you can text in to 254-216-3574. First person with the correct answer wins the Hornet Radio Reserve tickets.
I haven't think about that.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
It is a good one.
Yeah. I think you can probably come up with 3 quarterbacks pretty quick, but which one actually had it is the one that's really tricky. Career passing records. Bring it up. And we're going to go ahead and get on with our sports news, talk to Coach a little bit, and then
sports
drop the
news.
hammer question, and we'll have a good time.
Hammer question.
Yeah, good questions. They're always good questions.
Always.
Hey, news this week. Wednesday's results. Volleyball C team results from versus Brownwood. BC, or 8C won 2-0. 7C lost to 0-2. And their competitions against Brownwood. So that's that. Thursday's results. Lee, you got Thursday's
Yes,
results?
I was just looking to see if somebody had the right
I was
answer
about to say, you
already.
dinged in. I was like, wow.
Somebody texted in. But it was Colonel Kaufman texting in already.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thursday's results: volleyball, Gatesville score versus China Spring. JV Black won 20-14. JV Gold won 19-7, and JV White tied. Football, Gatesville Junior High scores versus China Spring. 8th grade A lost 41-14. 8th grade B lost 16-6. 7th grade A lost 34-30, and 7th grade B lost 16-0. And tennis, we got junior high tennis. We got junior high for baseball coming too, don't we?
Yeah, I think junior high softball is starting some league stuff. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about junior high baseball.
Okay, I'm just trying to
junior
keep
high tennis. That's.
Yeah, junior high tennis. We got junior high tennis out there. Defeated Brownwood 18-13. That was a good matchup.
See that. And then back to Friday's results. We just talked about the varsity football coming off that win over China Spring. 35-28 the final score. That one just keeps our playoff hopes alive.
It does.
Keeps us in a hunt. District 12 4A standings, La Vegas 3-0. Robinson and Conley 2-1. Us and Lorena are setting 1-2. China Spring 0-3. GSS makes its final home appearance this Friday against Robinson here. So we're looking for wins there on that one, try to get in there. Volleyball, varsity lost to China Spring 3-1, 25-17, 27-29, 17-25, and 16-25. District 23 4A standings: China Spring sitting at 9-0, Lorena 6-3, Gatesville and Robinson tied at 5-4, Conley and La Vega 1-8. So Gatesville will be playoff bound. They'll be playing Tuesday in Coppers Cove,
7:30 p.m.
Yes, sir. They'll be playing down there. We'll be broadcasting that one on the NFHS network. Unfortunately, we can't do it ours, but you can still tune in and listen to Lee and I give our wonderful dad comments and jokes and entertaining voices. Lee will even sing a song.
Monday's results. That's somebody passing the security camera there.
There we go.
Monday's results. Boys golf, Gatesville shot a 408 to finish 8th overall in the Temple tournament. Tennis, JV lost to China Spring 14-9. And then volleyball, Gatesville Junior High scores versus La Vega, 8th grade A 1-2-0, 8th grade B 1-2-0, 7th grade A 1-2-0. And guess what? 7th grade B 1-2-0 also. That was a sweep.
That's a sweep. Nice. So that brings us to yesterday's results. So we had yesterday's results. Tennis for the junior high. Once another victory. They defeated South Belton 12-2. And then, of course, we talked about earlier the volleyball game yesterday that China Spring had, or the Gatesville had, and La Vega went 3-0, 25-14, 25-14, and 25-8. That wraps up their regular season play. Like I mentioned, they will be going to the first playoff round on Tuesday against Burnett.
Burnett, yes. And I've already reached out to the Burnett coach and everything, and they were really excited to know that it was going to be broadcast also, because Gatesville's really lucky to have some guys like us. And
yeah, for sure.
So they, I was, it's always nice to be appreciated by you guys, but when you hear other schools share the appreciation for what we're able to do and stuff, that's really big too. Other news, tennis. Gatesville High School placed 8 players on the District 7A All-League team. The honorees include newcomer of the year, Allison Ochoa, first team Jack Armstrong, and Casey Fitzer. Casey Fitzer's doing great this year.
Really good.
As a matter of fact, she signed a commitment.
Harden Simmons.
Yeah, and I can never say his name. Mr. Martinez.
Aziel.
And Caitlin Sanchez, honorable mentions. Annabelle Lee, Allie Nichols, and Abigail Shaw.
Nice.
And, of course, we've talked all about the postseasons. We're getting into that time of year, so there's lots of things going on there. Once again, we want to wish Miss Martinez the best as her and Miss Higginbotham go and compete in the UIL for a meet Friday in Round Rock. And this is Miss Martinez's 4th straight time.
Crazy.
Go, man. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And then, of course, volleyball, the 7:30 start, coming to you live from Coppers Cove. We'll be there, or people will be upset if we're not.
There you go.
Anyway, Coach, China Spring, Friday night,
Big
man.
one.
We were talking about it a little bit. It's always exciting when you get a win, but when you can get a win in somebody else's house.
I guess the Cougars. Man, that's just one of those
That's
games
the
you
first
just
time in my
want to
career
win.
I've been a part of a Gatesville team, and I've been a part of a lot of Gatesville teams, brothers, and that we've won over there.
Yeah.
Ever. So my career ended over there, so it was nice to walk off that field with the win.
Note to self.
Yeah. 2 years in a row, actually. So.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
good game.
How was it feeling going into that game, having the progression happen the way it did in the first half for you?
That was big. I mean, we knew they were going to come out playing hard, and we had heard their quarterback had got a concussion the week before, and so he didn't get to play, but they put a really good other kid at quarterback. Mm-hmm. And so we know if we went out and played our game, and like I said, I think our coaches made some really good adjustments throughout the game that really led to us to have success. And then the second half, they make their run, which we knew they would when you play good teams, and their backs are against the wall, our backs are against the wall. Knew they'd make a run, but really proud of our kids. I think for the first time in a long time, we overcame a big hump, and we finally made the plays we had to do to win a game, a big game.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a big step in the right direction for our program. And I think it's a big step by our seniors, and kind of our motto that night was, why not us? Why not us tonight? They've had their time, and we dropped the last 3 in a row, and so we were kind of on a skid too. And so why not us? And proud of our kids making plays.
Well, why not start with the kickoff?
Hey, that's a big one.
Way to start it, yeah.
Yeah.
when
That's
that
a great
happened,
kick.
I mean, I was like, it happened so fast.
It did.
I was like, did that just happen?
Hey, great kick. I mean, and Hector's a kid that hadn't played, and he just come out and he works hard every day. And he can place the ball. We do a little different kickoff, we call it, after we ought to break the huddle, but he places the ball exactly where we want him to. And we weren't expecting that, but for us to get the ball and hustle down there, and Larry Schwartner to cover the ball, and Colt Heath to go down and fly down and hit the guy, that was big momentum switch right off the bat.
It was great to see. I mean, and then you mentioned we're always talking about winning those middle eight.
Yeah.
First half, you definitely won the first 4 of that middle eight. Second half, looked like China Spring they came out there and jumped.
Well, they did. We scored. We get the ball and score, which was big. And so you go up 21-0, and so you feel good. We converted a big third down that first drive. We haven't been very good at that, getting the ball right at halftime. And coming out and not going 3 and out, that's a big deal. It's not going 3 and out, letting them build on momentum. But that's the game of chess that you love about football. Is they got really good coaches. Obviously state champions last couple of years, and so they make adjustments. We make adjustments, and then you really start to see that play out in the fourth quarter. So I'm proud of our coaches and the adjustments they made, and then proud of our kids for going out and making plays.
And speaking of making plays, defense, like I mentioned earlier, defense I was impressed with the defensive play. Of course, China Spring, they did put some points on the board, but when they've got a quarterback and they've got the history like they do, and they're, like you said, well coached, they're going to put points on the board. Yeah. But defense didn't fold. I mean, they stepped up whenever they had to. The big defensive goal line stance. I mean, the guys really stepped up where they were needing to, and it was across the board. I looked at the stats. I mean, we had just everybody was chipping in and filling in.
Well, and that shows how good that they are too, because they're moving the ball around and getting us in formations and making other people make plays. That's the top night you want defensively. Is bend but don't break mentality, in the sense of they drove on us a couple of times, but then we got down the red zone and we bowled our neck and made a missed field goal, which is really big. And then, for us to go out there and, like you say, fly around and not get discouraged. There was a lot of moments in that game you could have got discouraged, and the guys could have said, "Here we go again." We're up 21-0, and now all of a sudden it's 21-21 or 21-20, and then all of a sudden it's 28-28. And it's like, man. But kudos to our kids for fighting and making big plays late. Those 2 big plays late are something we hadn't done right here in a long time, and executed to perfection.
And I totally, I think we got in the fourth quarter, and somebody had texted in about, China Spring, making their comeback or whatever. Yeah. I think I told Lee, I said, this game's going to come down to whoever has that ball last and whoever wants it the most. Yeah. And like I said,
speaking of having the ball last, about the last kickoff, making them re-kick it and call the play. Who called the play?
Well, it's me and Coach Cole are special teams guys, and Coach Cole does a great job. That's something we put in actually last week for somebody else, but knowing we had to progress the ball, and then Clark had the big return. They're a heavy kick to their sideline team, and so we were expecting them to do that. Well, then they kicked to Clark, and Clark had the big return to set up the first touchdown. So then when we called it, and man, it was nerve-wracking, but they went out of bounds. I was like, well, they're kicking it right to us. So we regrouped them, and Logan Biggs executed to perfection. Sold it, made a great throw. Grady got the ball, and everybody blocked like they're supposed to, and we got the ball down their end. And then overcome the holding penalty. We got first down, getting second 20. Garrett scrambles, makes a big play, and then we call the double reverse pass, and Dutch makes an unbelievable catch on the sideline.
Oh, that
unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Toe-touching.
And big play. That's what I'm saying. Our guys, we've had Dutch on here, and we talked about Dutch, how hard he's worked and all the early mornings he put in. But for once, I feel like our guys stepped up and made the big play. And then the last play, for Ray to score, we were trying to center it. We were trying to center the ball to kick a field goal. We had one more timeout left, 18 seconds. We're going to try to run to the right to get the ball more in the middle of the field. And then Ray breaks 3 tackles and runs in the end zone, which I'm not going to tell him not to. So
go ahead. Do that play.
That was a big one. So,
well, I tell you what, whenever we get down to the last 30 seconds and stuff, and we're looking at timeouts, looking at the clock running and stuff, we get text messages blowing up about this time. And of course, Lee's over here. Okay, I'm trying to get in Coach Hunter's head. Okay, what is he? Is he trying to run this down to just the minimum amount of time there is, or is he counting on a big play that he knows he can get in there with?
Yeah.
We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go with the Rayshon. Get in there.
Well, and like you said, as explosive as they had gotten the second half, I was going to make sure we had the last chance. And so we're going to try to run it down. And like I said, the play to Rayshon was a run to the right, run the left hash, run the ball to the right, try to get it more in the center for Hector. But, yeah, you break 3 tackles. And O-line blocks like they did.
Oh yeah, that line opened up after the
It's
tackles,
huge,
and
man.
I mean, you've got wide nothing but pasture land between you
It's
and the end
huge.
zone. You got to go for it.
Yeah. But I mean, give kudos to China Spring for them to be one in their record. And they fought hard, and their coaches do a great job, and they played a really tough schedule, and they never gave up.
And they're not going to be a slack team next year. I mean, their quarterback's young, the running back is young.
No.
They're definitely not. This might
Their
be a rough
JV
year
was
for
really
them.
good. Their freshmen were really good, and then their junior highs are really good. So they got a big one this week versus Lorena. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of this week, we're moving on to final home game of the season.
final home game.
Kind of a bittersweet deal, I'm sure, for, every year whenever you see seniors come through your program and, this is the last game they're playing on the field.
Yeah.
You've got that emotion going in right there. Playing the Rockets, which this is the best season that I've seen the Rockets have in quite a while.
Very, very good. They're a very good
Yeah.
football team. Coach Lancaster's done a great job.
Yeah, I've looked at what they got going on, so I think it's safe to say a formidable foe coming into the house this Friday night. So.
Yeah. Very good football team. Yeah, we got to work it out for us. They've a couple of years ago we noticed they were playing a lot of young guys, freshmen, sophomores. Well, now those guys have grown up and they've had a lot of experience, and they're making plays. Quarterback's really, really good. He's a sophomore. Mm-hmm. People don't know his name yet, but he will be on everybody's radar in the next 2 years. Yeah, he's really good. And they run the ball well. Big up front. O-line's hitting it. Defensively, they play extremely hard. They fire off, and they play with a ton of excitement. And you could see that Glen Rose win for them early in the year has set them on a trajectory. Mm-hmm. And La Vega's the only team that's got them so far. And that was a close ball game till late. But they went to Conley and put it on Conley, which is really hard to do. And so we got to work it out for us. But, it's a great opportunity for our seniors to go out. We've talked about that all week.
And based off of what I'm looking at, it's a very important night for Gatesville and Lorena this Friday night.
That's huge. That's what somebody texted me today. Said, hey, give me the playoff scenarios. I said, I don't think I have enough time in a text. It's old 73A because we looked at scenarios Sunday, and it's like there's no point in looking at this because there's 1,000 different things that can happen. So,
and for me, I love the competition and everything, but man, whenever we get to an end of a season and the scenarios are the way they are,
it's crazy.
I would love to flip a quarter and have a good just point blank. Hey, here we are.
This is what it is.
But there's just so many different things. This Friday night could turn it into 2,000 scenarios next week.
Yep.
Really. So anyway, big thing is we just want to go out, play our hearts out, leave it all on the field, and
find a way to get one point
to
win, man.
Find a way to get one more point.
One more point. That's it. That's all we need is one more point.
And what a great opportunity to be uncommon. And they can do it, to kind of defuse the Rockets as they've got something going this year. And definitely the talent to do it. I just wanted to ask you one more time, or just before we closed up, about your seniors. I mean, you've got a good group of seniors.
Big group.
Going to miss those guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at the program now, and your son was part of that, the kind of the regrowth phase, and this group's a huge group. When we kind of got here, they were in 8th grade, and they hadn't necessarily had the success, but, man, they bought in, they trusted the process. And when you have 27 guys that make it from, all the way for their freshman year to graduate, and what stands out about this group is there's about 7 or 8 of them that haven't touched the field at all this year. But they show up every day to practice. They know their role on the team. And it ain't about them. It ain't about their playing time. It's about the success of the team. And they're the most happiest ones when we win a big game. I got to miss them. That's a special group that's done a lot, and they've played a tough schedule. And I'm hoping that, as we talked about the other day, what kind of legacy are we going to leave right here? Because you got a chance to leave a pretty big legacy in a really tough district.
Wow. I'm sure you've got them coached up.
Well, we tried. It ain't just me, I promise you.
Jacob always said you had a way with words and get those emotions going in the field.
It ain't just me. We got really good coaches that do a heck of a job. So
we're good.
Well,
you got a question for him?
Here we go. I'm ready.
Real quick,
are you sure?
One last time for the folks that are watching, the trivia question for the tickets. One last time, in case you missed it earlier on in the show, which Gatesville quarterback in Gatesville history has the most career passing yards? You can message it on here or text it to 254-216-3574.
I see your wheels turning over
there.
You
said career, right?
Career.
Yeah, and the first person to send in that correct answer is going to win the tickets for this Friday night. And with that being said, Want to go back in history?
Here we go. Where are we going now? What
Pack your
field?
bags. We're taking a trip.
Taking a trip.
No, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, you've been coaching for a while now, and you were coached, and you talked about some of these coaches that were inspirations to you and stuff. Was there any particular coach that, I don't know, inspired you physically, with what do you usually do to inspire an athlete that makes mistakes on a field or something? They do up downs?
Yeah, a lot of up downs.
Yeah? Was there any coach that you did a number of
Eric
up
Balch, I mean, like, all the time. I'd look at him wrong, and he'd be like, "Hunt up down yourself." And I'd be like, "What'd I do? 5 more for talking back." I'm like, "Dang, okay." So I was over there, up, down, up, down. I'll never forget, and I told him this too when we were playing him. Me and Coach Balch got a great relationship, but he's DC at China, at Vegas, and they're doing a heck of a job. But we're watching film, and I made a tackle for loss, literally a tackle for loss. And I'm like, "Yeah, Coach, what do you think about that?" And he's like, "That wasn't physical enough. 5 up downs." I'm like, "What are you? It's a TFL, man. What are you talking about?" But no, I am who I am a lot because of Eric Balch. I love that guy, man. He's still, to this day, one of the strongest people I've ever met.
Well, obviously, that your up downs made an impact on somebody else because they were like, okay, this is what you got to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that I think the word I got was that you probably did more up downs for Coach Balch than any other coordinator.
Just thousands. And I would just look at him wrong and be like, "Up down yourself 105 times." I'm like, "God, why?" Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
It's good stuff.
All right, Coach, as always, thanks for joining us. Folks, don't forget, games in Gatesville tonight, this Friday night, where lights are a little bit brighter. And if you can't make it in person, tune in on that TV. We'll be there. And